is Warriors Anonymous.
Well, it's been quite a while, hasn't it, boys? Since the end of the Warriors season. No, to be fair, the Warriors season only just finished on the weekend with the state championship win. Hey, how about our New South Wales Cup boys creating a bit of history in both the New South Wales Cup and the state champs? Just bloody well done. Well done to our boy Tanner as well. Stowers Smith, Mr. Cheat Meal. I hope he gets to have one after what an incredible season he's had. Yeah, I actually just had mine just before.
Yeah,
you did.
Boys, we're obviously missing Isaac tonight. Unfortunately, Isaac's been abandoned by not just the Warriors playing football, but his whole family has actually gone overseas as well and left him to it. So, which made us, he sounds a bit sad about it, but we kind of were looking at the upside in that scenario. And Daniel, what were you looking at doing, bro? If you were in Isaac's shoes,
go to KFC, go deep, maybe go play the pokies, TAB, and maybe a few quads.
That's right.
Oh, actually, a marathon on Madden, maybe.
Ooh,
something.
Yeah, nice. Work out the thumbs. I'd be just happy to just sleep. So, Isaac, if you're watching, enjoy those suggestions. Boys, I guess a bit to get through as we wrap up season 2025, and what a season it has been. Let's go through, I guess, a couple of hard on-nars to get us started, because an old friend of ours has been linked heavily with the Warriors in recent times, and that is Alofiana Khan Pereira, the Gold Coast Titans, the current Gold Coast Titans winger. Super fast, a little bit of grubbish tendencies, shall we say? But I want to know, Haruna, how you would feel about it if we signed him, bro. AKP to the Wars, Haruna Moneta.
hard. Definitely hard, mate. Oh, I mean, but I mean, we've talked about it, right? We miss that kind of extra pace within our backs, and I think he'll add that again. Defense, but I think we need the extra pace, and I think it was shown in the grand final. That extra pace can help win games. So
yeah, certainly can. And I see a lot of that chat around the comments saying, "Oh, we don't want him. He's useless on defense." I'm like, we've already got someone who's useless on defense. Let's go for the faster guy. Buddha, what do you reckon, bro? Khan Pereira to the Wars, hard or not?
Hard, yep. Just got to pick up athletes. He's an athlete. I think we have the secret weapon, the secret sauce, and that's Webby. Webby will get around him, bring him into the club. You have to look at Tanner Boyd and his comments about being in a winning club as well, how much it's improved him. So, yeah, they'll look at his deficiencies, work with him on those as well. But, there's no substitute for pace.
Absolutely. And that's the sort of speed like that. That's, one of the fastest guys in the entire league. So we go from having, no one of note to having someone who's actually right up there with the best of them. So, and like I say, I've actually watched a lot of his highlights over the year, and a lot of the Titans tries that they'd conceded looking for defensive errors from him. And I actually didn't see a hell of a lot. There's a few here and there, but certainly not to the point of it being a major focus, such as it has been for us and some of our players, which we'll probably delve into a little bit. Also, boys, in the significant amount of time between podcast episodes, the Warriors, all sorts of awards were given out, including the One New Zealand Warriors actual awards themselves. And they gave the Simon Mannering medal, the club's top player. They awarded it to Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. So RTS Haruna for the medal. Is that the right call, Moneta?
Yeah, I think that's the right call. Yeah, hard. I think it would have been between him and Aaron Clark.
Yeah, cool.
For me. Yeah.
Daniel, what's your thoughts, bro? I don't know.
Yeah, hard because it's just Roger, and he had a period of some really good play. and early on, right, tore his hamstring, saving tries to win games. But I do like tip of cap to RTS. He did acknowledge Aaron Clark when he was up on stage receiving the award, and yeah, Aaron obviously was huge, which obviously culminated in other awards for him. So yeah, but everyone loves RTS.
Those are elite hamstrings as well. We've seen them do, some incredible maneuvers with those, which brings us great joy. Let's have a little confession, shall we? Let's cut right down to it. After game 1 in Vegas, we get pumped 30-8 by the Raiders. Monitor, at that point in time, what position on the ladder are you thinking for our team?
I definitely wasn't thinking top 8, if I'm being honest. I was just thinking, Jesus.
Top 10? Top 12?
I was thinking top 10, top 12. But I didn't think we'd make top 8. So they did exceed my expectations after the first game.
Yeah, sure. Daniel, what were you thinking, bro, when you saw that?
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say like what position. Yeah, maybe 10, 11, kind of that middling part. But I did think, I guess you just knew that. I had a feeling that it would be one of those seasons where we lose a bunch, we win a couple, we lose one, lose one, win, and then we just kind of, and then what we're doing, right? We're calculating the maths to get to the top 8 from like around 12, going, oh yeah, we've still got a mathematical chance. I've got to beat them. Da da da. So I thought the season would have gone that way, but then I was surprised, right? Because by round 12, we're like, oh no, we've kind of like a bear. We're hibernating wins, right? We're collecting wins.
Squirreling them away.
Squirrel them away. Because we needed to. Because then we were just holding on.
Because we lost the nuts of Barnett and Metcalf. Once we lost those nuts.
Yeah.
These nuts.
You're right. We lost those nuts, and then we started losing a bit of weight on the out of the acorns and whatnot. But it was an interesting sort of year, I guess. Interesting to note about Metcalf finishing the Dally M on 40 points, which was I think what Tedesco won with about 67. But man, like when you consider Lukey had only played half the year, that's some pretty impressive stuff. But I guess let's have a look at who impressed and maybe who didn't so much. So get your thinking caps on. While you're doing that, I'm just going to give a special shout out to the MVP of the Warriors. Not the Warriors team, not the Warriors club, but like the Warriors completely overall. That has got to be Richard Morgan, who has been leading the charge since round 1 and beyond, still turning out with the Warrior Nation at the state championship on NRL Grand Final Day. So I just wanted to make a special mention of the real MVP, the true MVP, Richie Morgan, the El Presidente of the Warrior Nation. So now in terms of who impressed you, Moneta, tell me who impressed your buttons.
Ooh, can I name a few or just the one?
You can name 2.5.
2.5. Okay. All right.
Name as many as you want, bro.
Obviously, Aaron Clark. That's the obvious one. I thought he was going to be a bit of a grub, but again, Webster turned him into an outstanding player. I thought we'd go missing in the halves, but then I think Metcalf stood up for those for the first half of the season until he got injured. And if I'm thinking Healy, so by 2.5 would be Healy. I think we've got a good future with him at number 9, and he is a game breaker, I think. I watched him play a bit in the New South Wales Cup, and he was running circles at dummy half. So yeah, and who didn't impress me? Oh god.
Oh wait. We'll go positives
All
first.
right. Okay.
We'll get into the real juicy stuff.
I'll shoot it to Daniel next.
Daniel, who did you like, bro?
Look, I think I spoke about all season, even when we went through some injuries. I think it was the keys to us having some sort of success was the ability of the young bulls, the young fellas, especially our 4-pack young guys coming through, and obviously hands down. I just thought you just left that one for me, but I mean, Lika Halasima, just
that's the obvious.
look, I mean, there's still levels to his game, and there were some things he'd like to do better. But look, just absolute freakish ability, game-breaking ability. We saw that in the grand final, but individual brilliance. He had individual brilliance in stages throughout the year. So he was awesome. His partner in crime, who I think sometimes gets a little overshadowed, but I think people know how good he is as well, is Dimitri Vaimonga. Oh man, he's tough and silky as well. And just driven, which is good. Love all our other young guys, but I want to also just have a shout out to Edemir Toyava. Came on late in the season, first grade, but I don't know. Ever since I've heard he's like the fittest guy in the club and he's so switched on, I just love that, because our club hasn't necessarily been associated, especially our young Polynesian boys, with like that hard work ethic and that grind and that capacity. They used to be sort of labelled as these kind of flashy, strong, but can they go 80? Can they do the tough stuff? Eddie showed that right in the games he did get as well. So yeah, they're my sort of 2.5.
It is an interesting one because, like, coming into first grade, like I'd seen quite a bit of him in the lower grades, and I knew he had an engine and it was all effort and worked really hard. But I was kind of impressed watching him when he came into the team, and actually he was powerful, man. Like he came in and he was looking to run the hell over guys. So I love that sort of intent, and it is interesting because guys like him, Leka and Dimitri, Tanner, like there's a whole bunch of boys who are just steadily accumulating a bit of experience, getting out under their belt, and when they take over for the older boys, of course we've got Jacob Laban in there as well, a bit of the forgotten man after he got injured, but there is some real excitement in that forward pack, I think, for the next coming years. Now, let's go to the other side of the coin, shall we?
Oh, hold on, Jared. What is your top three? What is your?
Oh, look, I'm going to give all the obvious ones have been mentioned, but I'm going to give a shout out to a guy who I straight up bagged them at different times, especially earlier in the season. And that is Adam Pompey. I think Adam Pompey this year, he has come on in leaps and bounds, and he's just that guy that your girl told you not to worry about. Like, he just keeps turning up, and he's taking the spot, and everyone else getting injured.
Dependable, Mr. Reliable, Mr.
That's right.
Always there.
He's always there. He's on, man. So, and to add to that, like he added quite a lot of consistency to his game this year, and I feel like he's gained a lot of confidence as well. So, creates an interesting sort of setup as we look ahead to 2026 in the centre spot. We've got a couple of juicy little positional battles lined up here, boys. But in terms of those who did not impress you so much, let's go. Don't sugarcoat it. There's no sugar here. We're going sugar-free. Sugar-free gum.
Oh, damn it. How many?
Oh, yeah, have as many as you like, yeah.
Oh, man. I feel like I'm adding more salt to the wound, but I think it's because I'm going to say DWZ. Yeah, sorry. It's probably because I know from 2 years ago what he was like. He was great on attack and he had a bit of extra zip behind him. But I think his defensive flaws really shown this year, and especially when you've got a comparator with RTS on the other side. I guess it became even more evident, when you saw RTS turn around and make that tackle with a bung hamstring, it was those kind of effort plays you saw with RTS, but then you kind of saw and I know there's the argument, depending on the centers and stuff like that. But it was sorry DWZ, yeah, that's probably it. And then the other one, it's probably not he wasn't bad. It's just it's probably just knowing someone was better that could be better there. It was probably CNK. I'm not saying because he was bad, but I just felt at times that Tuapeki could have been a better pick at times. So, no, I say that probably not, but DWZ is my list. Yeah.
Yeah, yep. And I think that's probably the popular vote. I would have a guess. Daniel, is there anyone you'd like to pour some salt on?
It's a hard one because, to be honest, I don't think. I mean, at times people weren't sort of winning, right? They weren't sort of necessarily in best form. There was some times late in the season, Wado just wasn't quite there.
Yeah.
I think there was fatigue and like hip injuries and stuff. So you got to think about these guys are playing under a lot. So, I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna actually call out the coaching team. I'm just gonna. I just think at times they didn't try or didn't put informed players in for I guess the Tuapiki part. Finding room for Shans. Probably calls to maybe spout Egan earlier. Give Healy some game time.
You mean more than 10 minutes at the end?
More than 10 minutes at the end. Because I think if we get to talking about winning premierships as well, and other teams that didn't quite land it, but give themselves the best chance. Yeah, we just probably could have freshened them up a little bit in certain areas. But when they did go to make a change, I just didn't think they thought about the balance of the team. And the big one will obviously be when we played the Bulldogs and we didn't have a recognised kicker, a long kicker in wet conditions. Look, I'm not saying Tanner wins us the game or whatever, but that for me was one of these situations where, like, guys, like, you're not considered that in these conditions that a kicking game is most important as well. And it just feel like a couple of little things like that. Just do better. To think about it and back a little bit of like, hey, you've got an informed squad here. Don't necessarily, just go with the tried and true. If you've got an issue out on the edge in the wing, it's not working. You don't have to pick the guy again. Like, you can send him to cup or whatever. Like, I think they maybe just got a little bit. Yeah, just didn't know when to do that, and maybe the alertings will be being a bit more trusty gut.
Yeah, it creates a couple of interesting questions. I'm going to add to the. The coaching parts that did not impress me, which is funny to say. We made the playoffs and had a pretty good year, but I think our overall attack is it needs work. I think not just personnel and execution. I think the actual system itself maybe needs a little bit of attention. I don't know if that means we replace one of the coaches but yeah, that in the Dolphins game when we left, wanted to change overhanging and let them score right at the end. Hello, Miles. How are you?
That attack thing is interesting because I think, it is, but then it's a combination. It's probably our biggest weakness is the lack of dynamic movement that our backline had in comparison to others.
Yeah.
So, they can't run. You can't run these awesome shapes where you can scare the shit out of the back line when you've got no pace.
Exactly. Miles?
Hey, big boy.
What do you think, boy? How are the Bulldogs? Bulldogs good?
No, they were gone.
That's a really good question. Like, in terms of I've been mulling over the whole system versus player thing.
Yeah.
Because the entire season, the chat around DWZ was he's jamming. I hope you want to jam it too. And a lot of the rebuttal on that was it's the system. He's doing his job. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, something's not right here because we're leaking tries. So somewhere between the player and the system. Hang on, sorry, Miles, I don't know where you're off to, but you're taking my headphones with you. Yeah, it's an interesting one. No, he's just made my phone go funny. Anyways, where were we? Let's have a look at the mate. Moneta, we'll start with you, bro. What was your most heartbreaking moment of 2025?
Oh man.
Heartbreaking or aggravating? Either or. Take your pick. Maybe choose two max.
One that comes to mind was that Dolphins game, I think, when they scored that last try. But part of me was like, oh, there was karma after Leka scored that awesome try against the Knights, because we should have lost that one, to be honest with you. But Leka, if it wasn't for his brilliance. So that one probably stands out. And I guess it was just the second half of the season, I think, overall was my kind of disappointment. It was my that's where I felt more disappointed, is just the inconsistency. I think week in and week out, we couldn't quite find our feet. So I can't pinpoint it down to one moment, but I think it alludes back to what you were saying around our coaching and our systems. The second half just seemed a bit like we didn't really pivot or kind of react to our, holes in the game. So that would be it. Yeah.
It's a bit like that scene in Austin Powers, when the guy's getting run over by the steamroller. Yeah. And you can just see it happening like for ages, and you're just like, are we gonna do anything to stop this? Like,
it was like a game of two halves, right? The first half was like fantastic, and then the second half of the season was like,
Daniel, what's your moment, bro? Or series of moments / half a season, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, just just on Moneta's point, I just got frustrated. It felt like our ball handling, our connection was gone, and the end of the season, that shouldn't be your issue. Like that should be your issue at the start of the season. But I know personnel change, but
like Broncos flipped it. Broncos was the other way around.
They just ran through at the end, eh? But obviously the two big injuries, right? When they went down, you just went, just when Metcalf was on top of the world, right? Like on top of that, Dally M's and just playing good football. And then you knew when Barney went out as well, or Barney went first, eh? You just knew that they would just be big injuries that have big impacts to your team as well. So that was just hard. And I felt for him because he was, coming off a great Origin win as well and playing really good footy.
Can I add to that? Because of that at this point, I actually thought James Fisher-Harris, no offence to Barnett, no offence to him, but compared to Barnett, I thought he would have gone up another level but I didn't quite see the same, if I'm being honest. He's still a great player, but I guess I expected a bit more.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest.
No, I don't think he elevated his play this year. Some would say he went the other way, but I think that's honestly fair criticism.
I think people also recognise that he's not Payne Haas or AFB, so there's a different style of front row, and I think it's well documented. It's the stuff when he looks at the young fellas, like the training, the presence as well. It's what he brings. And I guess when you had him and Barney together, you kind of got, quite a menacing front row as well. The last part was the our playoff final at home, and then we just literally pin the Panthers into their own half. Cleary kicks it from his 20, and the ball sits up, bounces backwards.
Oh, how could I forget?
Forward pass and then score a try. And I'm like, that's just gutting. Because look, I don't think the scoreline reflects the game. It was a lot closer than that. And And actually, we played well. We threw everything we had. Maybe, as you say, we weren't to the level as well, but I feel we gave the Panthers a much better run than most of those other teams did as well. But yeah, it was just disappointing to go. Even in games you go, we've got to come back. We've got something getting on top, but we just couldn't put them away, and then the game got away from us. So yeah, super gutted.
I'm going to put up a very specific moment in time for my moment of angst or sadness or whatever. And Daniel probably knows exactly where I'm going with this. It was against the Broncos when Chanel Harris-Tavita gets awarded a try by the referee. And they go up to the bunker and they find conclusive evidence that he was held up off the ground. I have no idea how they found that conclusive evidence, but that one just doesn't sit right with me, especially even on the weekend in the grand final when the Roosters, the Roosters NRLW team scored the Broncos NRLW team scored the match-winning try. Which was not clear, but had already been awarded a try, and they were like, well, we can't overrule that. And I'm like, well, fucking hell. Where were you?
I think that play then reset a precedent around, actually, they got that wrong. This is how you officiate it. Because every other similar moment like that, was it the Dolphins we were playing where they were like looking at two different screens? Okay, the ball's down, but his body's over the line. Okay, so it's got to be a try. So, well, no, you can't see the ball on the ground. You've called it a no try, and now you've turned it over.
Yeah, that's right. What was it? The Titans, Brian Kelly got one against us the following week, I think it was, where he was sent up no try, and then they were like, "Oh, we think that's conclusive to overturn it again." It was like,
because he's over the line and he can see he's over the line. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, we love those calls. I actually did enjoy in the grand final. Not the fact that the Storm lost me a bit of money. I got to admit that I did have money riding on the Storm due to our office sweep. I was gifted the Storm at the start of the final series, and I was not happy about it because I was like, "Oh shit, I don't really want them to win." Went through the whole final series not wanting them to win. Then they get to the grand final against the Broncos, and I'm like, "No, don't really like them either. I might as well just take the money." And and then they blew it. But I did notice that the Storm, they didn't appear as impressive when they don't get a whole bunch of calls, right? It kind of just made them look just a little bit more normal to compared to a lot of other teams. Yeah, that's right. It brought them back to the pack, and the Broncos obviously benefited off that. Was a monitor. Should Reese have been sin bin for that high tackle?
Usually it is. I think Harry Grant, made mention to the time he was sin bin for probably something less than that. So, yeah, but I guess they were playing because it was the grand final. So, technically, yes. Part of me was hoping no, because it made for a good game, if I'm being honest. So, yeah.
Yeah. What was your thoughts, sorry? Julius is back in the house.
Yeah. Julius, the irony of the kind of double standards in round play versus big games, hence why Ashley Klein was in the bunker, because he got in trouble a few weeks before. But I know, and others have been like that through the year, but I actually think there's enough mitigating factors in that scenario versus what happened with Liero, right? So, it hits him in the head, but he's not coming from kind of 10 meters back to get him, and Coates is dropping as well. So I think they just, if they could, not often say this, but if they can take some tips from rugby and just start using that vernacular around mitigating factors, no intent, it would just give a little bit more comfort to people when they just use a little bit better language. But yes, round 2 to round 24, there's going to be a bin every day, but I don't actually think it's a bin.
Yeah, interesting one. I tried to listen as intently as I possibly could then, but I mean, let's have a look at 2026 for our team.
Mhm.
Let's start at the back. Our back three. Who have we got in the wing and the wing spots and also at fullback? We'll start with you, Daniel, for this one, bro. I'm keen to hear your thoughts.
Okay. So I think they'll go Chance. They'll stay with Chance at fullback. They have Roger, but there will be some pressure for Dallin. So quite easily could be if they pick up a new winger. Said new winger.
Yes. Interesting. Moneta, who's your back three?
I'd like to see us start with Tuapeki next year at the back, and I'll give RTS, and perhaps we may throw in the new winger. Yeah.
Nice. I want to go with the old Burley Bears combination. I saw some highlights earlier in the week of Tane Tuapeki running out and giving the ball out to his wingmate, Alofiana Camperera, and them combining to score a try. I'd love to see Tane, AKP, and RTS. What that would mean, whatever that would mean for Dallin, be interesting. I'm not sure. I'm not sure Dallin's the kind of player that they do drop, if you know what I mean. I think he's either in the team starting or he might be Konski's, but interesting to see how they play that one. Centers, boys, we've got injury issues with our center spots. We've got Pompey, who can stay healthy and hold it down on the left. The right side has just been a bloody revolving door. I'd love to know your thoughts. We'll start with you, Moneta, on this one, bro. Who's your centers for 2026?
Oh, I hate to say it. I'd have Rocco Berry if he was fit, and not as injury prone. I could talk about big injury prone. But I may start with Leitawa next year to see how that goes for the first few games. If it doesn't go too well, then we throw in Rocco Berry. I just think last few years his injuries, I think, are starting to creep up. So yeah.
Well, I mean, Rocco's gone to do a shoulder recon, so that should, in theory, stabilize the joint. Obviously, he's had a lot of other injury issues as well. But I mean,
yeah,
it's all happening.
it's hard.
Ali's had a lot of injury issues as well. He had a ruined season. So, Daniel, who are you thinking for your 3 and 4 for next year?
Look, I guess, there's plenty of time between now and then, but if you would ask me who was playing tomorrow, and I guess, fitness available, all the rest, I'd go Pompey, and I think a position this guy could play throughout the season, Leka Halasima.
Oh,
yes, they mentioned him being like Katoni Staggs. Yeah, he could be like, someone said he could be like Katoni Staggs. Yeah.
I think there's time to get him into an edge role over the years, but I think with centre, he's obviously got enough speed. He's obviously can break tackles, but the workload's less, right? Like, you're not necessarily as committed from a defensive point of view, but you still have to defend naturally quite wide as well. So I think it's just a way to kind of build his footy IQ as well. And actually, as we've seen it, when we can get on him one-on-one wider, he's devastating as well. He was literally the only attack plan we had in that final against Panthers.
Yeah, he really was.
Yeah.
He's played quite a bit in the midfield as well over the years. Also interested, I'm not sure if you guys saw the video that the Warriors posted up between he and Dallin when they were prepping for the Panthers game, and how Leka had been messaging Dallin about, if this happens, I'm gonna come across or whatever. And Dallin was like, no one's ever said that to me, ever. I was thinking, well, that's probably an issue. But interesting. That's an interesting call. And I don't disagree with it, to be honest.
Me too.
The reason I also have that as well is it just provides more options on the bench as well, bringing in we've got some young back rowers we just talked about as well. So, gives a bit more capability there, but also we've been hampered with these injuries, and that's why it's kind of just come up as an option there.
Yeah, okay, I like that. Oh yeah, I had not thought of that seriously up until now, but yeah, I really do like that. The halves. Now I'm not looking at round 1. I'm looking at whatever round Metcalf comes back. So, Moneta, when Luke returns, who will be partnering him in the number 6 jersey? Are we going to go back to Chanel? Are we going to maybe keep Boyd in there for their kicking game and organisation? Are we going to have someone else? I don't know. Who are you thinking?
This is a tough one, this one. I'll do it in order, right? I'd go Boyd. So Metcalf's a shoo-in, but I would go Boyd, Team M, and then Chanel.
Okay, all right. That's your depth chart?
Yeah.
So Boyd would be your first choice 6?
Boyd or Team M.
Okay.
Yeah, those two. Between those two, I wouldn't be fussed. Yeah.
Yep. Daniel, who are you thinking, man?
I've got a kind of a different approach. I've got a combos approach, and it all depends. And obviously, the first combo is Metcalf and Chanel, and I think because Metcalf brings the creativity, and Chanel didn't quite bring that, but he's still in defence and he's got an okay running game, and he's got left foot. So that, but then if Metcalf's not available and Tanner plays, I think we need some creativity, and I think that's where Tamaiti adds that spark and a bit of creativity as well. So I kind of like the balance that way. And that was probably what I was possibly, if I talk about bold calls from the coaching staff, perhaps, they could have back into the season gone Tamaiti over Chanel, because they went Tamaiti over Tanner, realised they didn't have the kicking game. But the reason they did that is they weren't getting the attacking game as well in the run game. So, and also we want to shout out to Tamaiti, I thought he had a great season, a utility role.
Yeah,
I love the utility role, and he filled it really, really well. But yeah, they're my kind of options. It's just it's a combos approach.
Bro, let's keep talking about Tamaiti, because over the season you obviously you loved his utility value. And having him as basically the 14th man served us really well. But I'm keen to know what your thoughts are for next year. Who are you going to have as your 14th man moving forward?
It's interesting because, that's probably an argument to have him playing 6, to bring Healy into the bench and be a true 14, and actually get anywhere between minimum 20, maybe up to 30 minutes as well. I just think maybe, and this is tough because I think clubs like to carry a hooker that plays 80, 70 as well. But some clubs actually have hookers that just partner it. And I think to get the best out of Wade and not too much work throughout the season, but also change the dynamic as well with Healy coming on. So, yeah, that move to Tamaiti there does mean another move, right, as well. But if not, then, yeah, I guess the Healy argument's still the same, right? Like, I think he's showing enough to be on that bench.
I think it would lead to, like, to your point, G, possibly a new system. Like, if we had Healy on the bench and TMM and Metcalf, it just seems a bit more attacking. You know what I mean? A bit more flair available in terms of the back line. The more I think about it, I probably prefer TMM and Metcalf. I know I kind of look at them like Jerome Hughes and Munster. They're both quite attacking, I think. So I'd like to see us change up the system and maybe change up the personnel, but see how attack goes. Yeah.
Bro, you can tell it's the off season, because I hadn't really thought too much about lineups for next year, and all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, man, Lecker at centre, let's put Tamaiti at full.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Put bloody Wade and Healy as our
Yeah,
and then
man.
pull the levers as our dummy halves. I'm like, oh yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds good.
but like TMM was awesome. Like there are times when he came on and the spark came back in the team, and I was like, okay, this is good. So yeah.
Yeah, yep. What have we covered? We've covered the 14th man. All right, boys. If there's one area of focus that you'd love to see, focused on, um, what would you like that to be for next year, Moneta?
It's probably we've talked about it a bit already. It's just closing, but I mean, it's our attack really, closing those opportunities that we get. I thought at times we just lacked finishing it off in terms of like being in there kind of 20. We looked a bit disjointed sometimes, especially within the second half of the season. So yeah, I'd like to see us kind of improve in there, and obviously the defense on the right side. But yeah, those are kind of that's one thing I'd like to see. Maybe change up the system a bit for next year. See how we go. I think with the right people in the right places, maybe we could play a bit differently. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the attack at times it was a little bit like the old the scene from Finding Nemo, where the fish escape and they're like in the plastic bags floating in the harbor, and you're like, yeah, cool. That's kind of what our attack's like. But Daniel, what do you want to focus on, man?
Yep. Yeah, much that. Maybe it is a sacrifice, sort of this pursuit for high meters, high completions, safe football. And the Broncos have showed. Look, I guess they've got some personnel that can do that, but at times they weren't pretty. At times they made it, they didn't look great. But then at times they just got to roll on, right, and just gave the ball some air, and and I think that's probably it. Is we've gone down the Penrith pathway, and it served us well. It served us well from consistency of results, but yeah, I'm just mindful that other teams can still play and grind, and I feel like we mainly just ground, and we just don't have any extra
Pound.
pizzazz, extra pound, just to go and win games, outscore teams. That's probably our biggest challenge this year, was scoring enough points. For the whole season, we're sitting in the top four, but we're minus 30 points. So we need points. We need to find points. We don't want to throw out good principles as well, but I'm sure you can have both. I'm sure you can beat teams 30-16 rather than losing 24-20 because we couldn't score enough points. So yeah, the attacking shapes.
Yeah, one guy we actually I'd completely forgotten about as well is the new guy coming in from the UK, Gannon. So yeah, well, Daniel, what do you think? How does he fit into the scheme of things? What do you reckon?
Yeah, interesting, eh? Like I was just thinking about that, and I watched a couple of little highlights, and he looks like a decent footy player, right? Lock, edge, back rower, bit of pace as well. So yeah, there were times that we just didn't have enough, middle of the field ball play as well, and we obviously lost that with no Tohu and losing Dills Walker, and Aaron is good, but there's not, and he can play, but his strength is the running game as well. So yeah, but I think like anything, guys, you need a squad, right? You're gonna have, you can't play the same 17 week in, week out as well. So actually having more quality is going to be good. I just think I just want the coaching squad to be bold as well and go, actually, who's in form? Who do we need to beat this team and put the right people in the park? Not like who's our senior players and who do we need to make sure that they're always playing if they're fit.
Yeah,
I
like that. It's a merit-based selection, right? Not just because of who they are or how much they're getting paid or whatnot. But
yeah, especially for the young fellas who've earned their stripes as well. They, as you said, they've had a good season under their belt. They're going to be better. Finals footy, tough games. They're only going to get bigger, better, stronger. I go back 2 years ago. Dimitrik was tiny, and then he became a giant. And then he doubles again. Watch out, boy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's gone through a few phases already as the demigod. Moneta, but before we jump out of here, expectation in 2026. Are we going to be able to actually handle it for once? Because we're not historically not a good team at doing that.
Was that handling expectations?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think of the 2024 season. Yeah. I'd like to say yes. I think we'll be better equipped compared to when we had that breakout. Then the subsequent season was a bit of a downer. Yeah, I think so. I think we'll have a bit more of healthy personnel back. Fingers crossed. Touching wood, Barnett and Metcalf, and Rockerberry and the Talbot can figure out their injuries a bit more. But yeah, I think we'll be better equipped. And I do think, I think the theme of it is that I think we just need to try something different. I think teams have figured us out. You know, the structured way, the grinding plays and so forth. I think just showing, I hate to use Broncos as an example, but maybe giving them a bit more confidence to play with a bit more flair. And if things don't go right, like, hey, at least you're giving it a go. But yeah, I think we'll be able to handle it as long as we make a few changes.
I guess, Daniel, the other way you could look at it is not the burden of expectation, but the effect of success and creating that as a habit. Can we continue that on, do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think the amount of I guess the amount of the depth now we're building, like I think if you think about every position and fit, right, and you've got a backup in every position, so they should have some confidence that they've got more NRL based players now. They're trending in the right direction. So I'm excited. I mean, I don't want to get too overexcited, but we've got a good base. We're a good club, and they need the confidence to go forward and do that as well. Yep, and then there's going to be some changeovers in the season. There's going to be some players out of form. So, but we just keep adding to it, and New South Wales Cup, Harold Matts, SG Ball, like that will come through. Trust that quality of player is going to come up through, and winning. Got players that come in that are used to winning as well, and that makes a massive difference. So, yeah, heaps of upside. But we always know it's the toughest competition in all of sport, I reckon. Got to be. Like, it is such a grind. And, only one team wins.
Yeah, that's right. I had someone comment recently after the New South Wales Cup, one of the New South Wales Cup games, asking me about, who I thought would play in what position next year. And I was just like, bro, I need a rest, man. Like, let's take the off season. I'm just going to go and kick back.
Yeah.
Go hit the beach. Yeah, you're right. It has been a long year. I just want to say a massive thank you to all of our subscribers who've jumped on board. We've got about 4,600 now, so massive. We've nearly got 1.2 million views for the year, so that's been massive. And also, someone actually, I'm just kind of learning stuff about YouTube all the time. Somebody earlier in the year actually made a donation to us. I think it's called like a super or something like that. So I don't know who it is because I haven't been able to figure out how to track down and actually say thank you to them. But if you're watching, thank you very much. The support has been awesome. And yeah, I guess we just look forward to next year being bigger and better. And until then, just have a nice old break because I definitely will be. But any parting shots before we jump out, boys? No, we're good.
I need it. I just want to say, Jed, well done, mate. Awesome every year, every episode, all the highlights packages, everything you do, man. Manetta, Isaac, and I we're fortunate to come on and just spin a few yarns with our uneducated view of rugby league. So, and other life things like John's ball on a plate. But no, thanks, bro. Always huge effort, man, and this can't be done without you.
Thank you, bro. Thanks very much. It's been massive, but I think there might be only one way we could probably finish off the year, and that would be up the wires. Go the Warriors!
La cucaracha ya no puede caminar.